That's right, I'm back. And this is the evening, so I don't feel that tired. Skedaddle. There we go. Now it's here. Now I did not get to write something today, so shit. Gotta misuse my time, but yeah, we are. It's getting along. Mining project is getting along. Just get this ping ping dun dun. Just get this ping dun dun dun. This finger ping dun dun. Just get this finger ping dun dun. That's but I do need to be a little quiet because people are trying to sleep. There's nothing worse than a person who just doesn't make a noise. Speaking from experience. There we go. Let's mine onwards, onwards and onwards and onwards. What should I talk about now? Maybe I should talk about the Fraxen. Yeah, so the Fraxen, they are a species that was... It was actually the second species that was developed by Tyrant. It is a bunch of crocodile-like creatures that are underwater, and they are, unlike every other creature, fully encased in the fourth dimension. The other creatures, they have some sort of like hole. The Venox, they have imperfections. The Travels, they have to have a hole because otherwise they can't use the elemental powers. The essence wouldn't be able to get out of them. And but Fraxen, they are fully enclosed in their fourth dimensional bodies, fully enclosed inside of them. That's kind of important. Oh, dirt. So therefore, they are effectively immune to entities such as horror. Horror can't do crap to them. Well, not at least in a... usually what horror does is that he feels around in the third dimension, and once he finds a target, then he wraps around them in the fourth dimension and just squish them to death. It's effectively like a tentacle monster, that only this tentacle monster is not a pervert, it's a... it just really hates living things. Or it seeks to eradicate all living things. Because it sees it as an abomination. Now the thing is also that oh, music. I respect Minecraft music. Hey, back. Push back. Alright, so I probably won't be able to make the Citra. I probably won't be able to make the Citra video because yeah, there came something up. So tomorrow I have to do a bunch of stuff, which I'll still be able to do this though. I'm pretty certain. Maybe even during the morning and evening, but we'll have to see. Like a last minute thing. No, last day thing. Not last minute. Last minute, that's like... Words mean something, and you really ought to use the words for what they mean. Hey, that was a weird sound I just made. Oh, right, I need to scale down the sound for the game so that it doesn't overload what I'm saying. Okay. Okay, I should actually start deconstructing this up here. Damn it. You thought you could get me this time. Guess what, you can't. Oh, here's the bear booths. Yeah. I mean, this is looking pretty good. They're almost down. I do kind of want to play hytale, but the problem is that we still need the other version. But anyways, Fraxons. So the Fraxons, they lived under the ocean, but they didn't always do that. The thing is that at one point they were actually developed by the by Tyrant. So the order in which it all happened is that Tyrant, they developed first the Vinox, which were the first living creature, but they have a bunch of issues. They even needed to eat food, which was strange. At that point, the Tyrant did not understand that concept. They also thought they had induced the Vinox to be able to like absorb energy, but not quite. In fact, the energy source that they gave, the passive one, was actually too powerful for them, so they kind of... Well, they didn't melt, but they did not feel well while it was nighttime. So so Tyrant decided to do something different then. They decided on... what was it they decided on? Tyrant decided to start growing stuff instead. Rather, the Vinox started eating a bunch of stuff. Which they were able to, because they did still have the energy manipulation ability, so once they ate something and it came inside of them, then they could kind of break it down. Like, rip it apart, elemental-wise. Though they would have to cough up all the excess elements. I think it was horror. Once the Vinox started expanding outside of the high peaks, the hytale, they decided to start eradicating everything and basically waged war on its brother. Tyrant. At this point, Tyrant did have the form of dragons, and they fought back, but they couldn't really best Horror, because Horror was way too strong. But at the same time, Horror did acknowledge that it might be not have the complete jurisdiction, and perhaps it should let Tyrant do its thing, so it decided to strike a deal. It would have the entire world, and they would have high peaks. And so it was. For a long time. Oh, well. For a few years. And then Tyrant started developing, and in that time, Tyrant decided to develop a second creation. The Fraxen. And the Fraxen, they were all they wanted. They were exactly what they aimed for. They were buff, they were tall. They could be, the normal one was like 2 meters, and as they grow, like the young ones were 1 meter. And as they grew, they would only grow bigger and bigger. Eventually, like, towering 3 stories tall, maybe being even 8 meters. Like, the largest one of them could get to 8 meters, but otherwise there would be more like 3. There would be more like 2.5, maybe 3, 4, maybe even 5 meters tall. They were large, like really large. The most important one of them, which is known as Tenrax, he got to, he started at 1, and he got to like 1.5, and at his peak, I think he got to 3 meters. He is, however, also the strongest one of them, or rather, the smartest one of them. 1, 2, 3. the only real advocate of ranged weaponry. But mostly, the issue with ranged weaponry is, one, it's very resource inefficient for them underground. They might be able to use slings, but the problem is they don't have anywhere to practice underwater. Because, well, how are you gonna practice throwing a slingshot when you're gonna have to fight above the ocean? You have to throw the stone in a very different manner. And your aim is not to, like, destroy what is above water. Your aim is to conquer it. Because, like, you need to address your resource situation. So therefore they couldn't just go absolutely obliterate everything. But more importantly, they didn't really have the tools to make ranged weaponry. Yes, they could perhaps throw stuff, but the problem is that that was mostly effective. Actually, it wasn't even effective against dragons. Throwing some object after a dragon would just mean that it would dodge and then start firing flames at you. It would also just reveal your location, and you wouldn't even be able to pierce through a dragon's scale. Also, when the dragons disappeared and their rifles came, well, were the main threat, then, well, they were too nimble and too quick. And the straight necks, they weren't even, which you would be able to reliably hit. They weren't even that big a threat. In fact, the fractions were very effective against the straight neck, so therefore, what was the point with even ranged weaponry? They were too costly. You didn't really have many options, so that meant the only options were very costly, and you already were at a resource deficit. So therefore, while it may be that they also really had a tradition of, like, what is the thrill in not fighting hand to hand, it also was a very practical one, because, well, how are you gonna get those weaponries that are ranged if you don't have the means to get? How are you gonna learn to use ranged weaponry if you don't have the means to get or make the ranged weaponry? You would need some sort of base on land to actually do it. And even when they could effectively do that, get on to land and actually train, which they could when the tyrants disappeared, well, you still run into the problem of how you're gonna hit your target if your target is faster than you and they are very nimble. Or if it, and why would you do that? Why would you train this entire thing if the enemies that you are already able, which... And the second issue, why would you train this ability when the targets you would be able to reliably hit are already the ones you can easily defeat in hand-to-hand combat? So it really served little purpose to start developing ranged weaponry. The Draffles, they could get away with it because they were able to develop high-tech ranged weaponry. And the Rapids were too... They had technology on their side. Meanwhile, the Draffles, they had material on their side, while they were constructing all sorts of weaponry of that caliber. We're talking the Dragon Splitter. I can't remember what it's called. Not called the Dragon Splitter, but effectively it's just like a land thoughts that you are charging up, like you are accelerating it, and then you're firing it in one go, where it just build up tension and then it fires off the javelin, and it will pretty much pierce through anything because it's made of osmium. It will also shatter in the process, but unless it be even when it is refined, reinforced osmium, which is also a special material they have on Drafleon, though they have to make it themselves. Like, one thing is to get osmium, which is very difficult. Osmium is like really rare. It's not as rare as on Earth, but it is still rare. And yeah. But it is the only weapon that they can actually reliably use to destroy dragons. Well, except for Light Fist. He can also take down dragons reliably. Or tyrants reliably. And yes, you would also be able to poke them through the eyes and then start rupturing them apart from the inside. But the problem is, the moment you move into a tyrant, they have the ability to manipulate energy inside of themselves. Or well, rather, raffles are able to manipulate energy inside of themselves. And the tyrants are made draffles, so that means they are like the masters of this entire scheme. Or like manipulating energy. So it really is a death sentence to go inside of a okay, why do I suddenly have did I not? No, I think it did. Ah, strange. Well, I have a lot of additional tools then that I can't really use. Actually, I can probably use some of them. Yeah, like that. Alright, so that's 3 additional tools I can't use. Alright. That's fine. I'll keep those stone there. Alright, so then we just put this here. There we go. Bam. Oh, sorry. This and this. Ah, sorry about that. Ah. Oh. Alright. Look at that. Let me just get some water. You aren't supposed to drink a lot of water before you go to bed. You're actually supposed to wait a little. Actually, you're supposed to do it before you're about to go to bed. Otherwise, you'll wake up during the night and have to pee. You will also set your hair on fire, but don't do that. Oh, yes, it's almost done. Dun, 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 Oh, by the way, I actually realized maybe I should talk about the research I have done. So, if you are a man struggling with a certain addiction, then your answer might actually be that you have two needs. One need is one that's very easy to take care of. Plenty of material on the internet for that. But the second need, that you can't actually get. That you'll have to get from someone else. I probably can't say more than that, but you can only get that need fulfilled by someone else. So, like, if you have a certain addiction, then you might actually be tackling the issue a little incorrectly. It might also be that my case is very unique. But yeah, it might be that you're tackling the issue incorrectly. And it might be also that there is actually no solution, which is the case for me. But that's because I have some limitations in what I'm willing to, like, accept. So, yeah. I'm not sure I can say any more than that. But if you want to know what I have discovered over, like, researching this topic for, like, it's been like 12 years maybe? Then put, like, hashtag set free. Or hashtag set free. Hashtag 123. Let's just say that. Hashtag 123. Type that and then I'll give you a little rundown of how you ought to solve this issue. It might also be that you have no idea what I'm talking about, and in that case, I might have been a little too vague, but don't worry, I'll probably mention it again at some point. Yeah. Oh, I should probably check, is anyone watching? Nope. That's fine. I mean, this is the thing. This is just to prove that I did it. That's all it is. This entire stream thing right here is just here to prove that I did it. Let's keep that a rocket. Copying David. No, I also broke another pickaxe while the music was on. Then I forgot to mention it. That was very disrespectful of me. Sorry about that. You should never forget who fell. Those who fell in the fight that you didn't, those you should always remember and thank for their service. Though they are dead, so you can't really thank them for it. Alright, so let's just see. Yeah, I need to dig this up. Right here. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I should also do something on barony because, well, once the second part of tools of destruction, instruments of destruction comes, I should do something on barony because it's a really, really fun game, or at least I enjoy it a lot. Anyway, the fractions. They usually use club weapons, and that is because until humanity came, there weren't really a need for sharp weaponry. All the creatures on Draflion are made of scales, like really tough scales. Scales that are graphene, which means that they can pretty much break off any force applied to them. They can like distribute it very quickly. And also it is difficult to maintain blades. And it requires finesse, which isn't really their strength. Finesse is not their strength. Although Tenrax, he has perfected this stance of his, which actually makes him very precise in his hits. But that's not really what makes him strong. Tenrax is strong because he is able to analyze his opponent and is really good at exploiting weaknesses and mistakes, which usually come in hand. He's good at identifying the weakness, which usually infers a mistake, which he can then capitalize on. For instance, with Draffles, he noticed that they are very protective of their Raffic. And, well, there's not a lot of cases where that becomes relevant, but when it does, he capitalizes on it, like, heavily. There's also a time when a tyrant kills his master, which he also capitalizes on heavily. Probably should instead write that segment and then, or rather translate that segment and then present it one day. Alright, how far are we? Oh wow, we are very close to be here. Hey. Got it. Got it. Got it. That didn't take that long. That one needs a torch. Oh, I also need to take a poop. That's probably because my oh dear. Oh shit, it doesn't even have a charger in it. It pulled it out. I should probably mute and go back to go out to the bathroom before someone occupies it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I probably should do that. I'll be back. And yeah, I'll be back now. I'll do hang on, I need to check. Did I get all the stone? I think I did. All right. Good. Let me just do this and this, and I'll be back. And I'm back. A shame that the music came on just as I left. Ah. Glitch. That's not good. Oh, there was something over there that looked very interesting. Oh well, I'm not gonna investigate further. Oh dear. Dear me. That was horrible. You know, maybe all of these individual rocks being exposed to the air might actually increase the file size a lot, but I don't care. I like him. And there we go. Now it's just 2 left. No, 3. There's 3 left. The imperishable. I like Cetra. That was cool. One, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. Mm. One, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Oh. That needs to be done too. There we go. And then we just do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That looks right. Yep. That I didn't plan for. There's a lot of torches. Oh wait. One more thing. I need to do this. Done. Here. Yep. Yep. Go. We don't know what it's about. Anyways, the fractions then after a war with the Travels, and where they are currently. That is, they are having... they're still under the ocean, and they're still trying to find a horror and destroy it. But they are also looking... They are also having a small plot of land on the mainland. Of land above the ocean, which they have grown a tree on. And they have basically dug down in that landmass, very far down. And they are... There they are kind of just fostering the roots of this tree. Because they just keep on growing down and down and down, and because they are helping it grow down. And they are harvesting the roots to make all sorts of equipment and weaponry. And occasionally they stumble upon a cavern, which they then explore and bonk anything that's inside of it. They tame the cave, and the Raffics they follow through and then just runs research on the place and such, and take samples and catalog it, and also keeps an eye out for any osmium that might be needed. It is still mostly part of the Dreflin territory, but yeah, that part I haven't really considered that much, how the Braxtons actually react to the idea that what they're exploring is not theirs. I have to reconsider whenever or not they find that fair, if there's like some compensation there or anything. I have to consider that. Because that'll actually be a huge deal whenever or not that... Because if they do find it not fair, then it would just keep the caverns open, but then the caverns would keep on flooding with entities, and then they would have to clear out the cavern, and that might create some enmity between them and the Travels. That would also be good grounds for why they... for some events that happen later on. In fact, events that happen throughout the entire story. I have to consider whether or not that there'd be angry about that. They probably would, but why wouldn't the Travels then accept? Well, actually, there's one point. That is, whatever caverns that are inside of their own territory, those are theirs, and technically all that's below the ocean is their territory. So that might be the explanation. Okay, okay, something's wrong here. Right, that explains it. I probably think that's how it's justified, and then the Travels just also have to contribute in exploring the caverns. There's like a multi... It is a mutual agreement. Travels help with clearing out the caverns, and the Frax themselves clearing out the caverns, and the Raffics they run scans and such on the land, the territory. Yeah, I think that's pretty explanatory. So there is also the issue that the Travels do want the territory to be like not occupied only by the Fraxons. But then again, they would probably be fine with them having the entire lot, having their lot. It's like, it is still a planet. There is still plenty of land down there. The caverns would not cover. It would only cover like a small part of it. So therefore the Travels would probably be fine with them. The Thraxons getting the caverns that extend into the ocean. Oh, into below the ocean. Yeah, that would probably make sense. Yeah. Just because they are... I'm not gonna reveal that. Why? It's important that they don't want the Thraxons to get too much land. So it's probably not for the reason you expect it to be. That's all I'll say. Actually, no, I'll say it. It's because they kind of want other alien races to also be on Drafleon. That's why they accepted the Raffics onto the planet. And they have kind of the same hopes for other alien races that they will just kind of integrate into the land. And it might be there some races that need subterranean existence. Maybe because they can't take the radioactive waves of the night. Therefore they might need to be underground. Subterrestrial creatures. It could also be other regions. Maybe it's mole people. Oh, it wouldn't be mole people. It would be different kind of people. But yeah, it's just the sense I have. So therefore, they wouldn't want the Thraxons to take all the land that's below the ocean. They might need to integrate other alien races into below the ocean or inside the ocean. But yeah, the Thraxons clearing out the land and keeping the caverns to themselves, that's fine because it's not, they don't extend that far and that extensive. But the thing is, they actually are very extensive. There's one cavern that basically goes from I guess it's not too extensive. The thing is, the landmass of Drafleon is not that big. Not that large. It can perhaps support like 5 million people? Maybe, no, 10 million. I would say. It can support 10 million. But it's not a very big landmass. The majority of Drafleon is ocean and caverns. Oh, dear me. Okay. Let me just check. Time says, okay, after I have dug with these pickaxes, then I'm done. little tired now. Tomorrow will be a mess. Oh, that pickaxe, and then also this shovel. One, two, three, four. Crap. I am really, really doing bad. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Gotcha. All of them. All of them things. Done. Oh, bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Alright. No. Oh, crap. Alright, let's see. Did I lose much? I think it remembered it? Think it did? Alright, good. Yeah. There you go. Bam. go. Yeah, I think I will hold it here. Call it a day here. Yeah. Just see if I got any stone. No, it doesn't seem like it. That was odd. I shouldn't have deleted that. Maybe that was... Oh no. Maybe it didn't save it. I'm gonna go under the assumption that it did save it. Alright, anyway, I'm done for now. Goodbye.